East Palestine, Ohio has become little Chernobyl. Residents there have been living in the midst of a toxic mushroom cloud, having to inhale 500 tons of cancerous toxic fumes, with acid rain coming down all over them from all the vinyl chloride in the air. It's like these people just got nuked with toxins. And right now, as we speak, Palestine residents are showing up to a town hall where they were supposed to get the chance to confront the people responsible, the company that let a train full of chemicals fly off the rails and then lit it on fire. But the CEO of Norfolk Southern, Alan Shaw, right there, just decided to back out of the meeting. Alan Shaw and his rail company won't even show their faces. Primetime has a producer out there, so we'll be giving you updates throughout the hour. But can you imagine how angry these people are? The company responsible for potentially cancer clustering the town is hiding from them after they were riding the rails with bad parts. Surveillance cameras caught the train sparking up just 20 minutes before derailing. But now Alan Shaw and his rail company seem pretty comfortable turning their backs on Ohio. Is it because they line the pocket of every politician in Ohio? Probably. Maybe Norfolk Southern didn't have the spine to face their victims.
I wake up every day. I've been sick with my upper congestion. This morning I woke up with my eye swelled.
My kids, we're just running in to grab something, and then we're going back to Grandma's house because they keep breaking out in rashes.
Kids do?
Yeah.
I work by the rail track, and I have experienced headaches and coughing.
I try not to go outside because every time I go outside, my throat gets scratchy.
I have sore throat, headaches. My husband still has a headache.
But Ohio Fauci, remember him, said these symptoms are just like cold-like symptoms. Have nothing to do with the chemical warfare unleashed on Ohio. Slap on a bow tie and a lab coat and you're the voice of God. But life in this town is being sucked up. First, it was piles of dead fish in the rivers, which they said was no big deal. And then it was dead chickens in the barns. And now even indoor cats are dropping dead.
They started to tell me, well, it seems to be run-of-the-mill congestive heart failure.
Vets put Leo on medicine to remove fluid around his heart and lungs, but it wasn't working. Blood work tests show his liver enzymes were about 7 times higher than normal. According to documentation from Pittsburgh Veterinary Specialty and Emergency Clinic, who treated Leo, they believe the cat's condition, quote, could be due to vinyl chloride gases.
I'm pretty sure it could be. You can't walk outside in Palestine without getting a whiff of chemicals.
So I'm by the train tracks, roughly, I think where the spill happened, because it stinks out here. It smells weird over here for sure. And there's a lot of people down there. You see a lot of workers. I don't know if they're with the EPA or what. But that is definitely where the train is, and it stinks over here.
But the city is still being forced to go back to work. Kids are being sent back to school. They locked down for COVID, but not a chemical explosion. They're being told it's all safe as long as you don't notice your home's covered in ash.
And as you can see, it's covered. So I'm just taking samples and folding them, and then I put them in a bag.
You don't think people's lungs look like that grill right now? All of these people are inhaling cancerous ash, and no one cares. The EPA administrator, Michael Reagan, is actually saying everything's fine. He says the water there is actually pretty good. It's tasty. You should go try it yourself.
Would you feel comfortable bathing your children in the water or drinking that water?
Based on the results of those homes that have been tested, if those test results have come back and said that the air quality is okay and the water is okay, I would remain in my home and I would drink the water.
Hey guys, the water's really good. It may taste like expired Dr. Pepper, but we tested it, you're fine. And the EPA didn't even test it, and we'll get to that later. Until Biden's EPA guy comes down to Palestine and guzzles a gallon of faucet water, don't believe a thing he says. Usually when there's a natural disaster, politicians, cabinet officials, even maybe the president go to ground zero. They hug survivors. They comfort children. They hold a press conference and say, everything's going to be okay. We got your back. But Biden officials aren't going near this town. Trust us, they're telling you. Like we should believe what the government tells us at this point, because the government's never lied to us, right? Especially about what's good for us. The Biden team just put out a food pyramid that says Lucky Charms are healthier than an egg. Sorry, but people should listen to their gut, not the government at this point. Aren't these the same people who told us that Flint, Michigan's water system was good to drink, even though the water was brown coming out of the tap? Remember, the EPA also lied to New Yorkers about 9/11. They said the air around Ground Zero was totally safe. They told them to go outside and get some fresh air, inhale it. And 10 years later, thousands of people wound up with cancer. The EPA is setting East Palestine up to be another stat. And the people there, they see through it.
They want to know why we feel unsafe. I feel like we're being lied to.
We're not safe. Tell us the truth, because you can smell it. We're not stupid.
I think it's miserable. I think they could do so much more for the people of this town.
To be honest with you, I do not feel anywhere in this town is safe. There's a lot of questions as far as, what the railroad is actually doing. It's almost like people are thinking it's a cover-up just to get things, running and on their part.
Sounds like a lot of these people are being forgotten. Remember that word? It's like it doesn't even matter that a small Rust Belt town just got a chemical nuke dropped on them by a rail company. Is no one fighting here for the little guy? Where's Mr. Empathy? Mr. Forgotten Man? Where's the guy who talked a big game?
Investing in places and people that have been forgotten. So many of you listen to me tonight. I know you feel it. So many of you felt like you've just simply been forgotten. Too many people have been left behind and treated like they're invisible. So many of you, so many of the folks I grew up with, feel left behind, forgotten. It's frightening. I want to speak directly to you.
Today, Joe Biden was talking about trains in Baltimore, but he has never mentioned the train in Palestine. Why? Well, it's not his kind of people.
Joe Biden hasn't said anything publicly, hasn't said any sort of public sentiment. What do you think about that?
Joe Biden. Well, this is the middle of Trump territory.
What do you think about the Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg? He's barely said anything. He was actually had media availability, but he was talking about the Chinese spy balloon instead and laughing about it.
Yeah, I think they're too busy watching the Chinese balloons fly by and trying to ignore this problem.
Biden would rather help out someone who breaks into the country illegally than the people of East Palestine. Remember, Democrats moved heaven and earth for a Venezuelan migrant? They'll buy him a culturally appropriate piece of food, put him up in a posh hotel here in Times Square, give him phones, Xboxes, plane tickets, even lawyers. Democrat mayors will even sleep overnight in a sleeping bag in Brooklyn just to make some illegal feel more comfortable. See, it's not so bad. Even I'm doing it. But when our own citizens get toxic chemicals spilled all over their town, they light the chemicals on fire and make them sign lawsuit waivers and then no show at the town hall. That way, in 10 years, when they get cancer, they can't sue them. We've spent billions helping illegals, but we're going to stiff red-blooded Americans in Ohio and then claim we care about the forgotten men and women of this country? Pretend to care about the working man? Pretend to care about the environment? It doesn't matter what Democrats say. Just watch what they do. And right now, they aren't doing a thing.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.